Have you heard of Duck Detective, the Secret Salami? The cute indie game where you play as the titular duck and compile clues to solve the mystery behind the salami bandit? Have you heard of its excellent gameplay which pays homage to the detective genre while also creating an entry point for anyone new to this type of game? Have you heard of its cute art style, its hilarious dialogue, and its excellent voice acting? Well, if you haven't, I'm glad you're here, because today on Game Rant, allow me to tell you about Duck Detective. The detective genre is one of the most unique in all of gaming. Around 10 years ago, only games like LA Noire and Ace Attorney really matched what it meant to be a detective game, but the recent years have seen an explosion of indie games that put you in the mind of a detective and have you solve a core riddle. From the open-world Inquisition of Outer Wilds to the RPG cop conundrum of Disco Elysium to the weird and impenetrable found footage of Her Story. These games are all incredible, but they do often feel a little out of reach for the everyday gamer, overly complex, intensely weird, or sometimes even downright scary. Duck Detective has arrived at the perfect juncture as we sit at the height of the indie detective game, while there is also a gap in the market for something palatable and approachable. For most, this is the perfect entry point. The game has voice acting that is extremely well done and breathes life into the cramped office space. It has an art style that is cute and inviting while also perfectly fitting the detective-style gameplay that takes place, and each scenario focuses more on fun and whimsy than it does on creating something overly complex for you to break through. But by no means does that mean that this game is easy, and each breakthrough is packed with that classic detective joy that everyone who's played the genre has come to love. But back to that gameplay part. The gameplay that you'll be taking on in Duck Detective is similar to what you've seen in a Mad-Lib book, albeit with each of these slots having a specific answer that need to go in them. You'll get a list, and filling out that with each of the correct deductions will be how you progress. Each time you fill out your checklist, you'll get a cutscene that progresses you through to the next setting of the story. But to get those prompts, you'll need to talk to the workers around the office. You'll need to inspect them to find out their backstory, and you'll need to look through the clues scattered around this space. Once you've gotten everything, you'll need to piece together what's going on and put it all in your journal. But the main draw of Duck Detective is its whimsy. It is packed full of fun gags, silly wisecracks, and a hardened duck who is a detective, which in and of itself is hilarious. Upon beginning the game, you'll find out your duck is a recently divorced, bread-addicted mallard on the verge of bankruptcy. It's these slices of white bread that have done him in, both in his marriage and his financial standing. One of the key aspects that punches through all of this comedy is the fantastic voice acting. The main character, voiced by Sean Chiplock, has a deep and burly voice, one that matches hilariously with the fact that he's a duck.
Detective work isn't easy.
But side characters too come with an immersive set of voices, one of the standouts being the lazy, simple-minded alligator, done by Brian David Gilbert.
I'm the only one here in the operating office. Can you imagine?
All this adds a layer of polish to the game, making it feel like a true standout experience in the detective genre. Its brief runtime also adds to its quality, as its simple gameplay and low-stakes story necessitate brevity. When it all comes together, when you found the salami bandit, uncovered the mysteries lying within the office, and embodied the Duck Detective, you're left feeling full, like you've just eaten a hearty slice of bread. But just like the titular character, there's always room for more, and luckily enough, a second Duck Detective game is on the way in the form of Duck Detective 2: The Ghost of Glamping. Duck Detective: The Secret Salami is the perfect game for anyone looking at an entry point for the detective genre. It contains a lot of those core gameplay conceits, but keeps everything simple and fun in order for the player to enjoy the entirety of its brief runtime. Also, you play as a duck, and I think that's pretty awesome. Thanks for watching.